Here we are back with the Miata machine working on Miata things. Well, I'm done actually. As you can see, this valve cover is blue, and it didn't used to be blue. That's because I painted it blue, which of course means that I changed the valve cover gasket. And the main reason I did that is because of these. Now, I'm not sure how well you can tell because they've been sitting out for hours, but all that oil is that was on the spark plugs, not from being in the engine, but from the valve cover gasket. The center rings that go, because spark plugs sit here, so you got your outside valve cover gasket, and then you got the rings on each of the spark plug holes. The rings on all three of the back ones were completely shot, so there was seriously entire puddles of oil in there to the point where the only thing you could see was the very tip of the spark plug. All of this was underneath oil. So I just did all this and started up, and it blew smoke for probably, a good 30 seconds to a minute. I did check before, I had the plugs out, I tried to crank it over. I wanted to make sure there wasn't so much oil in there that it was going to spew out everywhere. And then I put the spark plugs back in, turned it over a couple times, and that was fine too. So pretty much, yeah, I did the valve cover gasket. I painted the valve cover with blue engine enamel, and plug wires were already done. I did new plugs. I gapped them I left them alone. I had one of the circular things, the little wire blobs on the end of it, and pretty much the point, what, 0.04 slid in, and the 0.45 wouldn't. And people online were saying to do about between 0.4 and 0.45. So I figured that was perfect. I just left them alone. It runs fine, nothing wrong with it. Everything went back together okay. So, and I looked at the timing belt because I was a little bit worried about that because it's got almost 100,000 miles on it, and I was kind of thinking, oh, I've already got the valve cover gasket off, or the valve cover off, and I'm gonna have to do the gasket. Maybe I should do the timing belt, but the timing belt looks good. It's not dry rotted. It's not, it doesn't look worn down. It's probably still the original, so I'm still gonna probably replace it, at the end of this year or early next year. But now I know at least what it looks like, so I'm not worried about it snapping in half in the next 3 minutes. So yeah, that's it, I think, for... Okay, I guess since I'm already making a video, there's no point making a video for it. I did one of these Cowl intakes a couple weeks ago, I think. This is just a piece of 2.5-inch aircraft tubing attached to this aluminum flange with a bunch of outdoor silicone caulk around it to make it fit. I just used a 2.5-inch hole saw, cut a hole, put the flange through it, and then attach that with the thing. And then you just pop the snorkel off down here and stick it on there. Science claims that there is, 0.05 psi of positive pressure here at speed. But really I did it because you get colder intake temperatures. People claim you can get better gas mileage, which I have been, and I can't guarantee it's because of this, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. And I didn't mind cutting a hole there because, as you may know, this is an automatic, so there's no clutch cylinder down there. But even if there is, you can still do this. You just have to move it, I think, over this way a little bit farther. But it only costs like $20 to do that, and I'm sure you could do it for less. But I got like I said, aircraft tubing and the clamps with it and the fancy flange. You could probably do it for a lot cheaper. But yeah, so that's it for now. I don't think I even mentioned this at all, but the transmission problem this thing had, where you had to put it in first or second to get it to go. I think it was because there was too much transmission fluid in it, because it doesn't have as much in it now, and it was overfilled, and now it's fine. It shifts a little bit rough, but I think that's just the vacuum modulator, and I'm going to replace that next weekend, I think. I already have one. I'm going to replace that and the bushings on the shift rod and the shifter in the car, because that thing, I guess I can just go ahead and do it now. This thing here, most of you probably don't even know what this is because it's a Miata, and this, according to you, doesn't belong in here, but side to side, it's all over the place. So there's bushings that stop the side to side motion in here, and there's bushings under the car that stop the front to back. So I already have those, and I'm going to replace those next weekend too, and probably do an oil change, because like I'll be under the car, just might as well get it all done. So this, I was going to get rid of this and get a new one, but I like this one enough, I'm just going to keep it. You can actually read the screen when you got the top down and it's sunny, because it's one of those ones that's like reverse, where like it's a black background with white lettering, so you can see it pretty good. So I do have the crappy Miata kit that goes here, and I'll have to put it on and modify it. I'm missing this thing here, and I do have the one over here, so that's good. But I'll have to figure something out over here, so it's not just held on my 3 screws. But this dumb, boring video has gone on long enough. I will leave you to continue your day and do much more worthwhile things than watch this garbage.